it is my understanding, based upon our prior communication, that as long as I sent out a check for any owed funds as of that time and brought the account current, that we would be able to continue the lease. In January, I mailed out a check for $20,000 to the landlord. It has not been cashed yet, but I have also not heard anything in regards to check-in as to when to expect payment or any. I assumed that the landlord had already received the payment, and it's now April or May rather, and this is the first that I'm hearing that we are going to be moving in this direction.
Are you going to seek an attorney on this case, ma'am?
I think it would probably be in my best judgment to do so.
All right. And you're saying you never received a notice to quit?
That is correct. I have two envelopes here, which I believe are notices, but they were out in April. One has a postmark date of April 21st. I didn't get anything in March. And I would have known. I even checked all of my UPS notifications because I get emailed notifications on every single piece of mail that I receive, and I have nothing there either. So
what I will do is I'll give you an opportunity to get an attorney. I'll need proof of the payment, what period in time that was supposed to be covering, and also I would also need the envelopes that you say you received in this case. I'll adjourn this matter out to 16th. Yes. Next week is not available because of the judicial conference, so I will adjourn this matter to May 16th, 2025 at 3 p.m. That is an in-person hearing. Everybody needs to be here. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Court calls case of living room, yoga versus Jordan Harlequin, aka Ellis Knee or Knee Ellis.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Stephen Jensen, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Good morning.
Jordan.
This is Harlequin.
I think you muted. Hello.
I'm here. Is it working?
Yes, it is. We can see you. We can hear you.
Okay.
All right. What is plaintiff's claim in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a claim for non-payment of rent in the amount of $6,467.06. And we're requesting that the court enter judgment for that amount.
What was the total amount again, sir?
$6,467.06.
And that's inclusive of cost?
Well, the cost, I put an additional cost of $130, so the total amount would be $6,597.06.
All right. And what do you have to say about that, Jordan?
I received an injury over the summer that put me out of work. When I returned to work, they would not allow me to resume full duties. It put me behind. I've been paying since returning, but not the full amount. And I've requested assistance from DHS, and in order to receive assistance, this was one of the requirements.
All right. So you applied through DHS?
Correct.
All right. So what I need is you would have gotten a tracking number in your packet that was mailed to you. There is what's called a rental assistance form. You'll need to file a copy of that filled out with the court by next Wednesday.
Okay.
All right. And if you don't have that packet and the form that's contained in there, you can either use the QR code on the screen, or we have put the link. We put the link in the chat on Zoom so you can get the form, but it needs to be in by next Wednesday. Understood?
Yes, sir.
All right, given that there's entitled to an adjournment, I'll adjourn the matter to May 16th, 2025 at 3 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Court calls the case of Linden Park Apartments versus Bruce, is it Bengray?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm appearing on behalf of-
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Anthony Brooks. I'm a case manager with the Ann Arbor VA. I'm here with Mr. Bengry in my office.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, what is plaintiff's claim in this case? This is a termination?
That's correct, Your Honor. The termination is based on health and safety issues related to filth in the unit, urine odors and saturation that expand beyond the unit. We're
Got
getting
it.
notices from the city, things like that.
All right. All right, Mr. Bengray, do you have anything to say about that, sir?
So he can only hear you through my headphones. I'm going to have to give him the headphones.
Okay, all right.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Bengray.
How you doing?
All right, I'm
Okay.
doing okay.
I remember seeing
right.
you in 21 when the Japanese Olympics were on. Okay, never mind, sir.
Okay. So what do you have anything to say about this termination of your tenancy?
I don't understand. Okay, well, he wants me to say something. Listen, sir, I don't know why they're terminating me. I paid my rent on time. I've never missed anything. The only thing I had an altercation, not an altercation, but a little abnormality or whatever you want to say of a dirty room. But I got it cleaned by Belfort Cleaning in the last 3 months, and over the last year. I get Belfort Cleaning, and they clean my room up real good. I'll make it. I'll make it. Here you go, sir. Here you go.
Okay. Okay.
Your Honor, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I've had a lot of difficulty, Mr. Bengry and I, of connecting with each other. What we would appreciate is we'd like to see if we can enter a motion to set aside for now until he can meet with the attorney from Michigan Legal Help.
Got it. Okay, that's fine. All right, I will give him an opportunity to contact an attorney on this. And so I will adjourn this matter out to May 16th, 2025, 3 p.m. That's an in-person hearing.
In person.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Court calls the case of Corwin Shakes versus Bernadette Young.
Full Johnny 85399 on behalf of Corwin Shakes.
Bernadette Young. Staff has indicated she was signed in, but then we don't have her, and I'm not picking her up on my screen.
Yeah, I saw that she was here last. I saw she messaged the chat.
I don't see her. There was no second mailing on this case, so I would likely be adjourning it in any respect.
I had
So-
personal service, Your Honor, if that makes a difference right now.
No, I see the personal service, but there wasn't a second service.
Okay.
Or the second mailing, I should say. So what I will do is I will adjourn this out to May 16th, 2025 at 3 p.m. in-person hearing. And if she pops back in, we'll let her know that that's what we did.
Okay, thank you so much. So you said May 16, 3 p.m. in person?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Ryan Burrenter versus Mary Barney.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shannon Urban, P73873, on behalf of Ryan Barrenter.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Fantera on behalf of Mary Barney.
Okay. And can you come here for a moment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is it that time?
Because this was printed, and I'll have to take a look, but I don't believe that the appearance was filed at the filing. I could be wrong.
Let's see. All right.
It's very possible. I'll double check.
All right. Okay. All right. Where are we on this case? How much is plaintiff claiming it's owing?
1,600 plus costs, Your Honor. And Mr. Fantera and I were able to speak yesterday. So we were just looking to schedule it for trial and see if we can work out an agreement in the meantime.
Well, I don't go to trial that fast, but what, you guys need an adjourn date and see if you can work it out?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
All right. So why don't I do this? I'll set it for May 16th, 2025 at 3 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. See if you guys get it worked out in just 2 weeks. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Huffman.
Court calls the case, Socita Management versus Ricky Noble.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brent Ingram on behalf of the plaintiff.
Don't have them in. All right. This was one that was there, and then we brought it back to a first hearing. Not sure. There was a service issue. Okay. All right. And he's not here. That's been corrected. Not here. There is a second service. Sir, would you like to take a default? They're not here.
We would, Your Honor.
All right. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Go ahead.
I am showing that the rent to retain in this matter is $750, Your Honor. Cost of $175 for a redemptive total of $925. Would ask for a default judgment. This is to be possession only with a writ date of 5/12/2025.
Judgment to the plaintiff, that is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested. Writ issue in 10 days.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Arbor Knoll versus Zoe. Park at Sagebrush Circle versus Skopelek. Westridge Mobile Home Park versus Michelle Cates. Westridge versus Gary Combs. Westridge versus Carol Tolbert. Those matters are dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice. Huron Vista versus Monica Smith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jillian Engen for plaintiff.
Good morning. Ms. Smith?
Good morning.
Good morning. There she is. All right. What is plaintiff's claim in this case?
Your Honor, I have a balance including court costs and May rent of $2,648.
And Ms. Smith, how are you going to get that taken care of?
So I'm in contact with Mr. David Soul. He's with KMG Prestige, and he's working with me. He presented me a delinquent rent forgiveness plan where I pay April, May, and June all on time, and the delinquent month that I have is going to be forgiven. I've been my money orders on time, and I'm just following that.
Your Honor.
Okay, so you paid your April on time?
April, I'm turning May in today. Actually, I made my money order yesterday, well, 2 days ago, but I'm turning it in today. And so I'm just following what our agreement was. I was
Got it.
to apply for Hawk and SER. I was denied because of ineligibility, but I'm doing what that's for me.
You're all right. Yes, Miss.
I'm sorry. That was what I was going to ask Ms. Smith about what the status of the applications were. So you were denied for both Hawk and SER. Okay.
All right, but she's in that program. I'm aware of that program. So
yes, yeah.
Has something been put in writing regarding that?
Not yet, not to my knowledge, Your Honor. I'll look into it and see if
Okay.
this is something that he.
All right. So here's what I'll do, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll adjourn this to May 16th, 2025 at 1 p.m. That's an in-person hearing. Okay.
Okay.
And hopefully what will happen is, and typically what is happening is that the agreement that you have is sort of formalized, put into what's called a conditional order of dismissal. Particularly now that we know that you've been denied the assistance. So it'll be getting all those little details worked out. Okay. That's usually the way that it happens.
Okay.
All right.
I do have a question though. I'm due next Friday.
Excuse me?
I have a baby coming next Friday.
Okay. Yeah, no, okay.
So,
I mean, I look stupid, but I got it.
Still early. It's still early.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so you're due next Friday and you don't want to come down here in person, and maybe in 2 weeks. Okay. So hold on, she's gonna have the baby next week. She won't be busy like that next week.
yeah.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
All
was
right.
gonna say, I can still make it next week.
Let's be honest, none of us would complain if you brought a baby to the courtroom. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you bring the baby,
Okay.
if you bring the baby, you're in good shape.
I'm
with
kidding.
me.
Don't.
All right.
I'll be there.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So here's what we'll do. I'll set it. We will. You don't need to fill out the form. We'll let you appear via Zoom if you're able to appear via Zoom, or just send us an email and let us know, that you can't quite, you're not up to it at that point, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
We'll work with you on that. Okay. Fantastic. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right. Then we may or may not see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I'll keep up my end of the deal, and I do appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
All right. You take care of yourself.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Court calls the case of The Haven versus Karina Kessler.
Jillian Engen for plaintiff.
Karina Kessler, do you see you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, and how much is owing on this?
I have a balance including court costs and May rent of $4,184.37.
All right, Ms. Kessler, how are you intending on getting that paid?
I am dropping a check for $1,100 today, and the same amount 2 more times this month when I get paid.
Okay, so you got one today for $1,100, and then when would the next check be?
On the 15th.
On the 15th.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm going to put $1,100 on the 15th. Okay, we'll start there. I'll adjourn this matter out to May 16th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Let's get those payments in, and then we'll see where we are and what we can go from there, okay?
Thank you, sir. A pleasure seeing you again.
Thank you. Take care.
Mhm.
The Haven versus Allah Hassan.
Jillian Engen for plaintiff.
Allah Hassan. There is no and also I guess Fatin Farha. No response. You have your second mailing, and yes, do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry for jumping the gun. I have rent to retain possession of $4,053.24. Court costs are $220 for a total of $4,273.24. Plaintiff is requesting a default judgment for possession only with a writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default. Possession redemption amount is in the amount requested with the writ to issue in 10 days.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, thank you. You too. All right, that's it for that block. All right. Court stands in recess till our next call at 10 o'clock. All right. Court's in recess.
The Court is now back in session. The Honorable Judge Judge Simpson presiding.
Court does call the case of Sile Farms versus Melanie Clemens.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rachel. Good morning, Your Honor. Rachel. On behalf of the plaintiff.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Clemens.
Hello.
All right. What is plaintiff's claim in this case?
With costs, Your Honor, $3,341.78.
All right. And Ms. Clemens, how are you intending on getting that paid?
Well, actually, I thought it was $1,000 less, but Monday I can pay $1,600. And I had plans to pay on the 23rd the rest of the balance, but now I need to do math again.
Well, hold on. What?
Okay.
You were going to pay $1,600 when?
Monday.
Okay, so you're going to pay $1,600 on the, what's that, the 5th?
Yeah, I believe that's the 5th. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Why did you think it was $1,000 less? Did you pay another?
No, because the paperwork I got say 23. It say 20.
Okay, but I got you. But your May rent has clicked in as of yesterday.
Yeah, that just dawned on me. Yeah.
Okay, that's where it is. All right, so let's do this. Pay the $1,600, and then so the reality for you is is there something that happens on the 23rd that you're gonna be able to pay another amount, or?
Yeah. I get my check.
Oh, okay, so the 23rd. All right, it sounds to me like something can be worked out, all right, but I'll pay the $1,600 on the 5th. I'm going to adjourn this out to my next date because of a judicial conference. Council is the 16th.
Okay.
So I'm going to adjourn it out May 16th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Okay. So make sure to get the 1,600 in, and then if there's some other funds that you have, get that paid before that date, and then we'll see where we are and what can be worked out. You can also contact counsel's office and try to work out a conditional order dismissal if you know you're going to have it on the 23rd.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Sile Farms versus Holly Connolly. You got him. Holly Connolly. They are not here.
Your Honor,
would you like? Yes.
my client advises they received payment in full this morning, but it hasn't cleared yet. So if we could adjourn this one over to the 16th just to verify that payment. And once it's cleared, we can submit a dismissal.
Not in front. May 16th, 2025 at 12 noon. Court calls case of Sile Farms versus Nicholas Wasowski. He's here. Where? Oh, there. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
And also, I should say, Niscol Scroggins.
Hi.
Okay, they're both there. There they are. Hello. All right. How much is owing on this case?
Your Honor, total as of this morning was $3,794.67. My client did receive a partial payment of $1,800, which is being processed by Scio Farms, and so that balance will be reduced accordingly once that payment has cleared.
The payment was 1,800?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so then we'd be around a $2,000 figure, assuming that comes in. All right, so folks, how are you intending on getting the rest of this paid?
So I already have all of it paid. I actually talked to them earlier this month and paid off all of last month, and they said I had to the end of this month to get to pay them and we'd be good. And 7 days later, after I paid them, they filed this court thing saying I owed them from February, which, as far as I'm aware, I came to court with you for. So I have no idea why we're here.
Hold on a
at
second.
all.
So you don't, hang on a second.
Yep.
But so you realize that included in this figure that we have is your
this
May
month.
rent.
Yep.
Okay. So what I have as a basic distinction when I look at it is I have your May rent plus court costs basically that's owed.
Yes, effectively. But I am objecting to paying court costs because I paid them last month on the 7th. I have the receipts right here. And on the 15th of last month, they filed saying that I owe them for February.
Your Honor, if I may,
Well,
this
the
case
calculation of rent that's due, it's basically, and at least as I used to do it, a per diem calculation, which just comes out to a date as that you're paid through.
Got it. But I don't understand
Okay.
how. But I don't understand how I could not have paid all of February when we went to court for February. And
Well,
part of
sir,
your
if you look at the complaint, it says you're paid through February.
And at the beginning of this month on the 7th, I was paid through the end of last month. I have a receipt for it right here.
I don't have that in front of me. All I know is that right now, what's owed is going to be May. What looks like is owed is May plus the court cost on this case. Now, if you're objecting to the court cost saying that you had everything paid, then I'm not sure how that's the case, given the fact that you just tendered 1,800.
So at the end of this month, or at the beginning of this month when I paid, they said that I was paid up to the end of last month. Okay? So that I tendered excuse me. When I'm saying this month, I mean the previous month. It is now May. I have misspoken. So the end of the 3rd month, I was paid up to on the 7th of last month.
Your Honor, if I could just add a little something here. Your Honor, Mr. Lazowski and Ms. Scroggins moved into the community in October of 2024. Unfortunately, they have not paid timely or in full since then, and so there've been a rollover balance. I can understand why maybe Mr. Lazowski is confused as to how the balance is, where it's at. I urge him to get a copy of the ledger so he can see exactly how this.
I have a copy
Mr.
of the
Lazowski,
ledger
please,
from the 7th.
please don't interrupt. I'll give you an opportunity to speak. If Mr. Lazowski reviews the ledger, Your Honor, there's been continuously a rollover balance and partial payments made toward that balance sporadically, basically since they moved in. And so, unless they're paying down to zero on time each month, it becomes difficult to understand how the balance keeps rolling over. But if they review the ledger, they'll see that their payments have been applied, and the balance that's due and owing currently after the $1,800 payment made today is applied. They'll see that the balance, as Your Honor indicated, is basically their May charges plus court costs.
Okay, so I have a question. If I owe approximately 1 month's rent as of today, and I tendered that today, and I'm caught up except for this month plus court costs, would that not mean that I would have been caught up to the end of the third month before that $1,800 payment?
Oh, sir, that payment was due April 1st and you made it
Yes,
on May 2nd.
yeah, I'm
Oh.
aware. I went in when I went in and made that payment on April 7th. I was told in person that as long
All
as I
right,
made the payment by the
sir.
end of the month, that I'd be good.
Sir. I don't know entirely what we're arguing about. You owe May. Your only question was that you don't think that you should have to pay court costs. If I look at a ledger and at the time that the complaint was filed, you owed funds, then you're going to be liable for the court costs.
Okay. Understood.
So when are you going to get the balance paid?
I can have it paid by the 14th. I think. Wait, let me double check account. Yeah, I can have it paid on the 15th at the latest, 16th. I get paid like 1 a.m.
15th. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll adjourn this out May 16th, 2025, 12 noon. 12 noon. You need to have the balance paid by then. Okay? Thank
If I
you.
make the payment in full, do I need to show up for court?
You don't, if it's cleared, you don't need to show up. But
Okay.
if it's not cleared, so the earlier you get it in, the better off we are.
I apologize for my frustration. Thank you for your time as always.
Thank you.
And that court would be in person?
That is in person.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Scio Farms versus David Sheldon Ball and Ivan Ball. Are you here? You don't have them checked in? Sheldon Ball or Ivan Ball? Yeah. Ivan. Yeah. Nobody has responded. Would you like to take a call?
Your Honor, in this case, we were contacted by a Richard Ball. Apparently, he is the brother of Ivan and David Shelton Ball. I've not had an opportunity yet to speak with Mr. Richard Ball, Your Honor, but the message that he left with our office is that both defendants are deceased within the last 6 months, and there's nobody residing at the home. I've not received any death certificates, Your Honor, and I would request entry of a default judgment today, but my intention is to speak with Mr. Richard Ball to ascertain what the family's intentions are with respect to the home. I do not know if there's a pending probate estate.
Good. Okay, if you'd raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. For the record, Rachel Dornbush,
Sure.
Balance Law, on behalf of the plaintiff. Your Honor, there's rent to retain of $3,041.48, costs of $230 for a total due of $3,271.48. We'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff, that is by default for possession, redemption amount, any amount requested, writ to issue in 10 days. Scio Farms versus Jesse Steinberg or Steinberg and Brent Steinberg.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
All right. And Ms. Dornbush, what's owing on this?
With costs, Your Honor, $3,881.65.
All right. And ma'am, how is that? How do you intend on getting that paid?
Yes, sir. By the 10th of this month, it should be paid in full.
Okay. Okay, well, you're entitled to a one week adjournment. I just don't have next week because of a judicial conference. So what I'm going to do is I will adjourn this then to May 16th,
Okay, thank you.
2025 at 12? Yes. At 12 noon. Okay, get that paid, and if everything's paid, they'll likely dismiss the case.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Scio Farms versus Jacqueline Stickney. Jacqueline Stickney, they are not checked in. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is rent to retain of $2,836.79, cost of $190 for a total due of $3,026.79. We'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ issue in 10 days. Scio Farms versus Rachel Tafini and Treva Fowler. Tafini, neither party is checked in. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is rent to retain of $2,679.53, court costs of $230 for a total due of $2,909.53. We are requesting entry of a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after the statutory 10-day period. Your Honor, my understanding is that defendants have worked something out with their lien holder to basically surrender the home to them, but there has not been a finalized move-out date. So I'll speak with my client to see if there's any way to coordinate move-out dates, even though a judgment is entering for the statutory 10-day period.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Scio Farms versus Annette Fair. Annette there. They're not checked in. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's rent to retain of $1,064.83, cost of $190 for a total due of $1,254.83. We'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ to issue in 10 days. Scio Farms versus Luana Tut.
I'm here, Your Honor. I'm just on the phone. I'm on a
All right,
different
what's
device.
your
I couldn't
name?
figure out how to. Leah Tut.
Okay, very good. All right, we've got you. Okay, what is plaintiff's claim in this case?
With cost, Your Honor, $5,876.20.
And ma'am, how were you intending on getting that paid?
I did submit a payment of $1,500. I think they're probably just waiting for the check to clear. And then I have submitted an application through my employee assistance program to assist with remaining balance. And that was submitted yesterday and it's in process.
Your Honor, if I may ask, when did Ms. Tut make that $1,500 payment? I don't see it on the ledger yet.
It was, apologies, I am at the hospital right now, so it was dropped off, I believe on Wednesday. It may have been left in the drop box for rental payment.
I think Patty has something to say. She looks like she wants to talk. Let's going to clarify all of this. Go ahead, Patty.
It was a personal check. We were trying to get certified funds, but it makes sense now why we can't get a hold of her because she's in the hospital.
Ms. Tut, did you hear that the payment does need to be certified funds? I don't know if you can have the person who dropped it off pick up the check and exchange it for certified funds, but then we can apply it to the ledger.
I will do my best to do that.
Thank you.
All right. And your employee assistance program, how long do they take to answer?
A max of 10 days.
10 days?
But they are aware of my situation, yes. They're aware of my situation. I'm fairly certain that they will help, and I will follow back up with them. I may just need to, after I get the certified check.
So get the
resolved, I may need to provide them with an updated ledger, but they should assist.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. Get that $1,500 certified and get that to the landlord, okay? All right. So, and then I'll adjourn this matter out to May 16th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Okay? And that way we should have an answer from your employee assistance program. The $1,500 should be there, and then we'll see where we are, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Court calls the case of Sylvan Crossing versus Aria Cummings Jones.
Rachel Dornbush, Palace Law on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor.
She's here. Ms. Cummings Jones?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there you are. You turned on your camera and moved on my screen.
I'm sorry.
All right. We got you. Okay, how much is owing on this?
With costs, Your Honor, $2,387.18.
And ma'am, how are you intending on getting that paid?
So I have the money. I tried to pay it online and they blocked it, I guess. So, by the time I get off work, I know banks be closed, but I got my daughter going to get a cashier's check so she can give to them.
Oh, okay. So that'll pay the whole balance off?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
All right. So that you think can be accomplished by Monday?
Oh, for sure.
All right. So I'm going to indicate pay the balance by the 5th, and then I'll adjourn this out to my next available date of May 16th, 2025 at 12 noon. And if it's paid before then likely they'll dismiss the case. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Sylvan Crossing versus Andre Marshall. Andre Marshall. You have them? No. They're not here. You may proceed, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you, Your Honor. There is rent to retain of $3,628.57, cost of $194 for a total due of $3,822.57. We'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ issue in 10 days. Then Valley Ranch versus Latoya, is it Liftner?
Rachel Dornbush on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Liftner, no response. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's rent to retain of $3,538.46, cost of $169 for a total due of $3,707.46. Would ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ to issue in 10 days. Valley Ranch versus Makisha Baines.
Hi. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you. Hello, Ms. Baines.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, how much is owing on this?
With cost, Your Honor, $3,264.10.
All right. And Ms. Baines, how are you intending on getting that paid?
Just as before, I was here a couple of months ago, and I'm a doc student, so I'm waiting on my funding again. So I've talked to them as per usual, and they tell me the same thing, that things have changed and I have to wait. And last time I had to wait literally to the last 15 minutes of the morning, and my funds were sent to my account, and I was able to pay everything off. So that's where I am again now, waiting for funding to come through. Ever since last year when they changed all of the things in regards to grants for research, there's been a slow pull of everything. So I have to wait. They just need time. Their hands are full, and they have new rules and new things that are going on. So it puts us at the back end, or on the front end, sort of just waiting, and it's just sort of messed up, but it's nothing that we can do.
All right. So they didn't even give you a time frame or anything.
Yeah, last time they didn't give me a time frame. They just told me the hands were full. They just needed time waiting for clearances and things of that nature because of the rules and things that have changed last year. And so this is my last installment even to be in this apartment, because my lease is up next month. So this is my last installment. So I'm just waiting for it to pay off for, I think the young lady can speak to April, May, and June. So I'm waiting for that to cross over into ACH into my account. And then once it clears, I just literally just pay the bill.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I'll put this over to May 16th, 2025 at 12 noon.
Okay.
I'd suggest that you keep in contact with the attorney's office, let them know any
Okay.
status that you hear on it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we are on this and we'll see what we're going to do on that day. All
Okay.
right?
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Uh-huh.
care.
Bye-bye.
Right. Valley Ranch versus Waleed Obadat. Obadat. They have not checked in. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's rent to retain of $3,669.73. Costs are $169 for a total due of $3,838.73. We'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue after 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession. Redemption amount in the amount requested. Writ to issue in 10 days. Whitaker Oaks versus Kathleen Short. And Brian Pollard.
Rachel Dornbush on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Brian works midnight, so he's sleeping, but he's aware.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. How much is owing?
With costs, Your Honor, $4,116.61.
All right. And ma'am, how are you guys intending on getting that paid?
Okay, so I requested help through DHS, and also my work does have an employee like hardship too. So I gotten paid. I can pay some of it too, but I requested help.
So you applied through DHS. So there's a form that's contained in your packet, which is a rental assistance form. There is also you can use the QR code on the screen. Although you're on a phone, you'll have to swipe over it in order to get the QR code, or you can look in the chat. We put a link to that form. That rental assistance form needs to be filed with the court by Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday, okay?
Oh, okay. I have the packet, but this form. Okay, and then I have to bring it in person.
Yes, it needs, well, it can be, I think.
Can someone else drop it off for me? Because I have to work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It just needs to be here. You need to sign it and it needs to be here by Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, and then it may be an employee assistance program you're going to try to tap into, right?
Yeah, DHS, and then I requested assistance through my job.
Okay. So what I'll do is we'll get an update on that, but I'll adjourn this out to my next available date of May 16th, 2025 at 12 noon. That's an in-person proceeding. And then hopefully we can figure out exactly where we're going to go at that point.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you. You also said, ma'am, that you may be able to pay some of this yourself. Is there any payment that you can make between now and then?
Yeah, I can. I just got paid, so I can give them a little bit if they.
Okay. How much do you think you can pay?
I can probably do like 800.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll put 800. Can you get that into them by Monday?
Yeah, yep, I'll get a money order.
Okay, great. So pay 800 by Monday, get that form to us by Wednesday, and then just keep us updated about the employee assistance program. Okay?
Okay, I did request help through DHS as well.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Northville Crossing versus Miller, Scioto Farms versus Branty, Scioto Farms versus Chenault, Scioto Farms versus Clark, Scioto Farms versus Hernandez. I think Brian Clark is here. Brian Clark.
Hello. Good morning, Your Honor.
Hello. Good morning. They are dismissing your case. You have any problem with that?
No, sir. You have a great day. Thank you.
All right. You do the same. Scioto Farms versus Hernandez, Scioto Farms versus Hissa, Scioto Farms versus Bridget Long, Scioto Farms versus Rachel Young, Scioto Farms versus Sabina Newsom, all of those matters are dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice.
Thank you.
That's it.
It is indeed.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
You
day.
have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Group 5 Management versus Thomas Hornberger III.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Weiss appearing on behalf of Group 5.
All right. Hornberger. No one is present. If you'd like to take a default, raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor. We're requesting a judgment for possession and money judgment since he was personally served. The total amount owing, including the court costs, is $1,039.01. Request a writ to issue on or after May 12th, I believe.
Yes, it is. All right. Judgment to the plaintiff. That is by default for possession. Redemption amount is in the amount requested, as well as money judgment with a writ issue in 10 days.
Thank you very much. Nice weekend, Your Honor.
You do the same, Mr. Weiss.